Okay, perfect. Okay, so our first live Zoom this year, it's 8th of January, Monday. We're gonna do the market breakdown and we're gonna do some fundamentals just to see what we can expect from the market this week. You can as well type in the comments which pairs you want me to go through. I have USD CHF, USD CAD, and gold. So those are my main pairs. I added gold for this year. If you want to analyze, get through the Euro USD, GBP USD, whatever it may be, just reply in the comments so I can see, and we're gonna go through that as well. Okay. So first, we're gonna check some news. So we have to see when we have news events, how market is going to be impacted, when we're gonna have volume, etc. So today, Monday, usually we don't have much of a movement on Mondays. So it's very rare that we're gonna have some movements on Monday. But anyway, today we had CPI on CHF and bank holiday on JPY. So let's see what we have tomorrow. We have nothing on my pairs. So it maybe can be on, Euro pairs, whatever, but I don't have anything for my pairs. Then GBP we have on Wednesday. We have Thursday, which is going to be the big day for the USD currencies. We have core CPI, CPI, and unemployment claims. Everything is going to happen 30 minutes after New York Open, which means that the New York session on Thursday is going to be tradable, is going to be awesome. And we're gonna have volume, volatility, what every trader needs. So we can expect some movements on Thursday, and then on the Friday as well, we can expect for USD in the New York session and GBP in the London, before the London, actually 1 hour before the London Open. So let's say until Thursday, we can expect setups to develop. We can as well have setups to trade before the Thursday. So don't get me wrong, okay? But anyway, let's move into the technicals. So this was today's USD CAD. I wanted to long in the New York session, but obviously it didn't happen. So we're gonna go through the USD CAD first. I'm going to explain everything. We're gonna see if we can have something for tomorrow. Now, the thing is that even though we have the whole analysis, like from monthly, weekly, daily, etc., all the way to the downside, I usually do analysis before the session, which means if I trade New York session, I'm going to do analysis just before the session, right? So anything can change until tomorrow, which I'm going to update you guys in the Telegram channel. Now, USD CAD starting on the monthly time frame. Why monthly? Because first thing is we are in the new year. Second thing, it's a new month, right? And we have to see the long-term perspective where market can go. And I'm going to tell you now why I decided I want to go into the longs today instead of the shorts, even though, December closed bearish. Now, first thing is always you have to ask yourself where market closed, right? So we closed at this very low. Why? We have support region right there, this previous low, right? And market rejected and pushed higher in the first few days in the January. Now, it left behind the imbalance, right? So this is my ultimate target for the USD CAD, this imbalance level, right? Which is 35, 39, let's say 40. It can be our possible target. Let me just round it. Okay, I'm gonna type text. So monthly imbalance. So we know that price can go to those levels before turning down again. Now, overall, like if we start from the left to the right, overall, we are currently bullish, but we are in the range on the monthly basis. Now, inside of this range is a lot of trades, right? A lot of trades. Now, we just have to know where market is at the current situation. Now, current situation, like I said before, we had rejection, support the region, and price is pushing higher. So I do believe the monthly candle possibly until the February can reach this level before turning down. We as well left the order block on the monthly level here as well. So it's all the confluence, right? So on monthly, I am bullish. Then weekly. So let's dive in. Whenever you switch the time frames, you want to always focus on the situation presented in front of you, right? So we see this is the monthly. We have 50% of the weekly order block. We still have the imbalance to cover, right? We still have this break of low, which means break of structure. We have this break of low, which means as well break of structure. And if you remember from the previous Zooms that we had in December and as well in the November, I always said that we want to cover this imbalance to the downside before going higher. And this exactly happened, right? It was covered to the T, rejected to the T. We had a U-turn, and now we are slowly pushing higher, right? Now zooming even more, we broke the previous weekly high. Now, this can mean two things. So two possibilities. First one is we have imbalance to be covered to the top, and we broke the previous weekly high, and we have imbalance inside of the previous weekly candle as well, right? So two scenarios can happen. It can either go down to cover and then go higher, or it can continue go higher. And this just depends how news are going to be on Thursday and how market and price is going to behave in the next couple of days. Okay, so I'm going to delete this so it's not going to be confusing. If you guys have any questions, just let me know in the comments, okay? Anything. Okay, so we broke the previous weekly high. We created the imbalance to the downside. We still have something to cover to the upside. Now the daily. So daily on Friday, we had NFP, we had FOMC last week. We see the shake of the NFP candle, right? So we had liquidity above, which we take it out today, and we still have liquidity below, right? Still to be covered, okay? So those weeks, the weeks that stands out and the imbalances, this is the liquidity, okay? So market always covers that. Now we just have to see where it's going to go first. Okay, so the daily candle, we are currently still bullish, right? Unfortunately, we did not close above, which would be the perfect scenario to have a closure above the previous daily high, which will, indicates that price may go even higher. So in this case, we can expect a roll over to the downside in the next couple of days. Now, if you have patience in the market and you know how market works on the higher time frames, you will know that this is going to be the U-turn, possibly a U-turn, right? So it can happen like this and then turn down, cover this and push higher. Okay, so this is to be expected. Okay, that H4. So H4 is very, very important time frame for me as a day trader, right? Let me just mute this guy. Okay, very important time frame for me as a day trader, especially when session overlaps, because the H4 candle represents the movement inside of the day, right? So I need to see how close, opening, where is the structure, etc., to know where to trade in the next 8 hours. Okay. So Friday, we swept the liquidities below those lows. We ended up pushing higher. Now we are retracing down, having a pullback. Now in this case, because we swept the previous daily high, right? We swept the previous daily high. We closed below this bullish candle low. We have to see, I want to see some more push to the downside to be sure that we may go lower, because this is the H4 order block that we can trade from, right? And it's 33.76, which can, be round numbered to the 80 as a confluence. So I'm going to type this and let's say H4, so we know what this is, right? And then we can target the previous daily low, which is going to be the Friday's low, and the liquidity, because below it is liquidity and it's imbalance, right? So we have confluences to the downside as well. Where is this? And we can say where's liquidity, like that. Okay, we had sweep on H4 on the left side. Okay, so H1 cross confluence. So cross confluence on H1 is there, right? We have order block on H1. We have sweep of the liquidity on the Friday. So we swept this. We have imbalance inside of it. So we can see price possibly pushing higher to cover and then reject 50% of the USD CAD 1 hour candle order block and then turn down. So if we want to short it, I want to look for setup inside of this, right? Inside of this region, going to just type it in H1. Now from H1, everything else is still intact, is still good. We have this liquidity week and that's it. So let me move down to the 15. So 15 minutes, want to see more clear picture. Now, 50-minute, as you can see currently, so what price did at the end of the New York session, we created equals, right? Equal lows. So we have equals, which means liquidity, which means stop losses, because this is seen as support region. So obviously everyone who was bullish and buying currently are having stop losses below, right? Simple. Then we have this order block, which was my possible long scenario that I was talking about at the beginning of this Zoom. Why? Because this low act as inducement. We have liquidity as well. So if we can, see price pushing higher, just to test the structure, and then pushing down, then we can have a possible long. But this H1 order block must not be touched before that, right? So only this scenario will be useful for us to go into the bullish scenario. Otherwise, we're gonna see, we have to see price creating structure, creating setup around this region of H1 level, right? Okay. On the left-hand side, we have break of structures, which indicates bullish scenario. We have break of previous highs, which is break of structure. We have all of those confluences like that, as we had during the day. So this order block is still valid. We have price number, which is 50, and I had it on 53, just to be sure that we are in. Then if we zoom in, and if we dive deep in this situation, we have imbalance, right? So we have imbalance, we have order block, we have sweep of liquidity of this low as well. Okay, so this is also good. We had sweep. So those are all the confluences. So sweep, break of structure, retracement, inducement here, break of structure, right? The only thing that, bothers me is that previous daily high and weekly was taken out before we had any chance of being in the trade. So this is the only thing that bothers me right now. So the only way I will trade is if, like I said before, we get this rejection of this structural low and then push down to this original entry that I had today and then possible long. Now, where we can target, so first target obviously is going to be this H1 order block, 50%. And the next possible target can be this daily high, okay? Because this high was today's high. So obviously we are targeting previous session highs, lows, or previous days highs and lows, okay? Always like that. Okay, so this is the possible target. Now let's see this in the sense of risk reward ratio. So what I changed for this year is for USD CAD and USD CHF, I'm going to have fixed TPs on 2% because I added gold, right? And gold, we all know that is super volatile. So I changed to the fixed 2%. And if 2% 1 to 2 risk reward ratio is just going to be there. If I see the price have momentum and it's moving like it's supposed to, we can always raise the percentages to the 3%, which the 3% will be just right there before the H1 order block, which obviously in a sense of trading percentages, etc., would be beautiful, right? Okay, so this will be the possible target. Now, stop loss obviously below the low of the order block. So 10 pips in this case. Okay, any questions about the USD? Okay, no questions. So just remember, the only way this setup is valid if this gets, respected, price pushing down when we have this entry. Otherwise, it's not going to be valid. And if this happens before the New York session, obviously I'm not going to trade it because USD CAD is mostly traded in the USD in the New York session, right? But I'm going to update you guys in the channel tomorrow. Okay, so currently for USD CAD, this is it. Now let's move on to the next pair. We have USD CHF. So USD CHF lately is not that good, especially in the first few days of January as well. In December wasn't that much of a, tradable. But let's see anyway what the bigger picture is telling us. Okay, as you can see, we had monthly on the, this is weekly, sorry. So monthly on the USD CHF is as well bullish. As you can see, we are currently rejecting this very low, right? We definitely have more room to the downside. So because as you can see, overall, we are bearish on the USD CHF, breaking all this previous lows and as well the structure that created this high. Okay, now on the monthly as well, price created imbalance to the upside. So this was my main target, like on the USD chart, USD CAD, the same thing. So definitely I'm going to mark that up. Okay, definitely marking that up. Monthly level. So we know what this is. So we have imbalance to be covered. We broke the previous low as well, right? So I'm expecting price pulling in and then possibly pushing down, right? But we're gonna see given the fact that we have big ass rejection on the monthly currently. Okay. Guys, can you mute yourself, please? Let's move to the weekly. So weekly, same confluence it with the monthly. We have weekly order block. We have impulse that broke the structure. So we can expect price pushing in. Now, the weekly currently open up bearish. We did not broke the previous weekly high or previous weekly low like we did on the USD CAD. Okay, so this can be interesting, right? We are currently in no man's land, so which means that it's not tradable. Okay, daily bearish. We shook the previous daily structures on the NFP Friday. We still have small room for imbalance on the daily order block as well inside of this, right? Which is important. We have equal, not equal, but we have two possibly equal highs to the top that can result as a liquidity and driving force for price to actually go to the highs and monthly level. But on the daily currently we are bearish, so we can expect some more movement to the downside before price is even going to turn around, right? Okay, H4 structural wise, like if I'm being honest, this structure for me is not beautiful. It's too weaky, it's too choppy. So liquidity taken to the downside of the structure, liquidity taken to the upside of the structure, right? So everywhere. Now we have to see more price action development, more movements, breakouts, whatever the case may be, that price needs to do to give us the setup, right? So whenever you spot nonsense and choppy price action in the higher time frames, usually can be good on lower, but I do not suggest you because you have to be in sync with the higher time frames to trade from. Okay, but H4 currently, let me imply this. So we have London, Asian high, Asian low. We did not take the Asian high, we only took the Asian low, which is interesting. Now we're gonna put back this on lower time frames. So H1, so what we can expect from H1 and from the USD CHF in general. Okay, because we took out the highs, the previous highs and liquidity on the left side with this week on the NFP, and we created those equal highs, I would expect price pushing higher just to reject this, which you're gonna see on the lower time frames, and then push down to take out this low as well, right? This will be my expectation, no matter if we have this order block laying there on the H1. Okay, no matter, because if you have, let's say, where is this? So if you have structure and you have a break to the downside, and you have, let me do this high and this high, okay? And you have liquidity above, no matter if there's order block to trade from, price can usually come to the level, reject, goes in the profit, boom, taking out all of the liquidity and then collapse. Always, right? So be aware of that. Okay, be aware where the liquidity is, because you don't want to be liquidity. Okay, 30 minutes, nothing special in the 30 minutes except the highs, which is going to be visible on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, let me mark that up. So we have liquidity to the upside. We have this. Okay, we broke the structure today. We did that. Now let me just input the indicator of the sessions. So we had Asian and we have London. So London did not take out the Asian highs and collapse. So we have London session liquidity and we have Asian session high liquidity still at the top. Okay, so this is interesting. Now, how we can drive price higher, even though we had this break of structure to the downside. Definitely this will be the risky setup because it's not A plus, right? It's not beautiful structure and price action. It's definitely will be, it will not be A plus setup. So the possible shorts can happen there, but now listen carefully. I wouldn't use this as the entry on the limit orders. I wouldn't do that. I would use that as a POI. Okay. Point of interest, which means when price arrives to these levels, I want to see that price respected, rejected, create structure, move away, break of structure, etc., then move back into and then trade from, right? Just to be sure and be safe. Okay, because let me be honest, this is not, something to be, 100% sure that we can trade from, right? Okay, now we have this at the bottom, we have this support region, as you can see. We can expect price pushing lower just to take out the lows and take out the previous daily low. This is the previous daily low. Okay, so I'm going to mark that up. Okay, like that. So I'm gonna type in PDL, previous daily low. So the best case scenario would be price pushing down, taking out the lows, rejecting, pushing back in, create some sort of structure, right? Break of structure, retracement in the New York session possibly, even in the London is possible, and then longs all the way up. And this will be in sync with the USD CAD, right? Will be in the sync. So we have to be careful. We have to see which setup we actually going to trade. So if I'm honest, because both of them are USD based, and if you see the structural basis and how price looks like on USD CHF compared to the USD CAD, definitely I would use USD CAD instead of USD CHF. Okay, makes sense? I always use the simple setup, the setup that makes sense, setup that have most confluences, and it's easy to see and easy to trade, right? 85.30 looks good. 85.30. Yeah, looks good, but as a POI, definitely as a POI. Let me check the 5 minutes even. So 5 minutes, nothing special here, but we have 5-minute order block, imbalance, etc. But liquidity is above, so no go. Okay. So currently for USD CHF, this is it. So far, the most important pair currently is USD CAD, but we have to see how it's going to behave through the Asian and the London session. Maybe we're gonna have the whole different setup tomorrow. Okay. Now let's jump on the gold. Okay, gold. Let's start with the monthly. Okay, so monthly, like overall gold is bullish. Overall, like the big picture, okay, is bullish. But we have to focus on the current situation. Now, those equal highs that were created like 4 years ago, I was just waiting and waiting and waiting when those highs are actually going to be broken. Because look, we have by the book liquidity equals, okay? And we finally broke it last month, okay? Now, because liquidity is taken above on the higher time frame, we can expect gold to push down, right? Because liquidity is taken, even though it's still very much bullish, like in the trend wise, but currently we took out liquidity to the highs. We don't have anything else except this week. And currently on January, we are monthly bearish, right? Okay, weekly as well. Now, weekly we have imbalance to the downside. Inside of this, we had sweep, as you can see, sweep of the low, rejection of the order block to the T, push up, break of structure, small retracement, push up, break of structure, take out the liquidity, turn down, right? So previous weekly was bearish. We are currently covering the week, currently still bearish. So we're gonna see if we can find some bearish setups inside of this weekly candle, okay? Let me just delete that because it's going to be messy. So daily, daily we have this small imbalance for possible targets, right? Daily bearish, previous weekly, daily, previous daily candle on Friday, that was the NFP, low taken out, high did not, was not taken out just yet. But daily still, we open up bearish on Monday. We have to see how it's going to perform during the week before Thursday. H4. Now on H4, if we start at the very top, we have, let's see market phases. So we have, we have impulse, correction. We have impulse, small structure. So the range took out liquidity to the T, as you can see, order block on H4. We collapsed. We broke the low, we broke the structure, right? And we created liquidity there. We have this week, we have this week. Okay? Hope it makes sense. So definitely gold does have room to the downside. Okay. Now, this is the last impulse to the downside. We have H4 order block from where we can trade from, but definitely we're not going to trade from H4 time frame, right? We have to dive deep. Dive deep. H4OB. We have imbalance, small imbalance between this week and this H4 order block. So we can expect price pushing in tomorrow in the new session. We have this some sort of inducement, right? So definitely I see some movement to the upside. We have this order block. Now we have to go into the details now. I'm gonna mark that up and mark that up on H1, H1 OB like that. Okay, and then let's dive for 30 minutes. Let's see the cross confluence. Okay, so 30 minutes looks good. Here we had small sweep. We rejected this one, which is great. So I'm going to mark that up 50%. I'm going to just put it higher, just, to be seen. But you get the point, right? Like that. Okay, we collapsed very strong. We collapsed very strong. Okay, we created this possible target. Gonna explain why this is the target. Okay, gonna delete that now. We broke the structure. We had BOS. We had BOS there as well. Okay, and this is the possible target as well. So definitely we have to see some movements and we have to see some more price action development. But so far we have imbalance there. We have 30-minute order block there as well, right? Okay, so price can either push down, reject, and then take out this high and finally arrives to our possible entry. Let me check 15 just to be sure. Okay, read that just to see how price action looks like at the bottom. Okay, so definitely would use 30 minutes time frame there on H1 and possible target here. Entry here. just refining. Let me put it on the 50%. Why 50%? Because the candle, the order block candle is very big, right? So on the big, on the big order block candles, you want to use 50% of the candle for your entry to have better risk reward ratio. Okay. Okay. Then we have this one little fellow like that. I'm gonna place it X. So we can expect here, we can expect price pulling in possibly in the Asian, pushing down, hopefully not before the New York session. And then from this point, we can expect this. So this is scenario number one. Okay, this is scenario number one. Okay, and then once price is there on the 30 minutes time frame, we have this order block, we have H1 confluence. Okay, we can expect, I would want to see structure being created on the LTF as 15-minute, some sort of liquidity grab, break structure, retracement into the order block, and then push down into this target. Okay. So those are two scenarios I would like to see. It's going to be interesting because we have news on Thursday and Friday. So on the gold, if you're not greedy trader, you only need one trade per week. Because we all know when gold push, it push, right? And it can be like that, boom, 3%, and you can be done. Okay, so be extremely patient with him. Have a lot of confluences when traded it, have risk management, and everything else. Okay, any questions about the gold? But definitely, because gold in my eyes, for me, as I backtested it and from experiences, is only tradable. The most times it's tradable only in the New York session, not at the opening of the New York session. So let me write this down so you guys can have this timeline as well. Your session. Type this into the notes. So I'm going to type everything in the UK time, okay? Let me just do that, UK time. So New York session open is at 1 p.m. in UK time. New York session news are 1:30 p.m. UK time. And gold is usually tradable in 2:30 p.m. UK time. Okay, when the indexes in the US session opens, right? That's why, most times, gold escalates at those time. Okay, so you don't have to rush into everything. You have to be patient and just see the price action, see the setup develop, and then you can trade, right? So because this is tomorrow, like not in 24 hours, but like tomorrow in the new session, I think I will have to redo the analysis. I'm not going to lie. I hope not, but we're gonna see. And then I'm going to update you guys before the new session begins, the gold New York session, obviously. If there is going to be a setup, okay? If there's nothing, I'm not trading, I'm not looking at the charts, I'm not updating. Make sense? Makes sense. Okay. So Euro USD, you said you want to go through, okay? Euro USD, let me check that real quick. Okay, interesting. Okay, monthly. Monthly on the Euro USD. We had sweep in the previous months. We've escalated to the highs. We are overall in the structure, in the range on the monthly time frame. We do have imbalance to the downside, so possibly shorts. On long-term perspective, this can be a few months, okay? Current monthly open is bearish. Previously, we had bullish closure. We did not take monthly highs and monthly lows. So let's see the weekly. Weekly, we have, okay, interesting. I see longs on the weekly. right? Because of this imbalance, we swept the highs. I mean, we swept the liquidity on the left, all those highs. We rejected 50% on the weekly of this order block that broke the structure to the downside, and this was the slow retracement up. So I do expect some longs, and then by the end of the week, we can possibly see it turn down, right? Possibly. So I'm gonna mark that up on the weekly. We have this weekly level. Okay, let's head to the daily. So daily, roughly very choppy in the range, as you can see. No movement at all. We had previous days that, we had breakouts, which was 2nd of January. We had break of this previous low to the downside. We still have some bit of imbalance above. We have this daily order block, so that's why I saw this on the weekly as well, that price can push higher. Now let's see if we can, spot the setup to go into the longs, okay? Because given the fact that H4 is very choppy and indecisive, we're gonna see about that, okay? Now on H4, target definitely will be this H4 order block and the imbalance to be covered. I'm not saying that you can't go into the longs in this area, you can, but we will have to see this once price arrives to this region, right? Because this is too far out currently, okay? H1. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So we have weekly level and we have H1 order block. Definitely can use that. Deleting this. This can act as inducement. Okay. 30 minutes. Let's see, 30 minutes. Okay. Let me just check what is happening. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. So 30-minute time frame. Let's dive into current situation. Let's see the sessions. We have the Asian session high, we had low. So London swept the lows of the Asian session and then turned away, which is beautiful. This is textbook setup, right? So those who trade Euro USD, you can possibly have trade in the early London tomorrow, if everything will play it out. Okay, if not the Asian, if Asian session is not going to mess things up, right? So this is a 30-minute order block, which can be used. Where is it? Like that, okay, which can be used. But let's see how 50-minute time frame looks like. Ooh, can be beautiful. Okay, 50-minute order block, like there. We had rejection of this area. We had break of structure. We had break of structure above with this impulse movement. We had sweep of lows. We had sweep of lows. So we can mark that up as liquidity grab as well. Okay. So we had this. The target, I think that's the daily high. Let me check. I think that is the daily high. Yeah, definitely. This is the daily high of today when we have equal highs. So this can be the possible target to go into the longs. Now, you have to understand that I have USD CAD long as well, right? I have USD CAD long as well. So this is the friendly fire. Okay. Then we have inducement, and we have inducement on USD CAD as well. So it's going to be interesting. So whatever I say on this live Zoom and this current situation at this very time, it can change through the Asian session. So that's why I like to reevaluate everything in the morning and before session even begins, whether this is London or New York session, because anything can change. Okay, that's why I'm giving you guys the updates. Okay, so but anyway, let me check the 5 minutes as well. 5 minutes looks good, honestly. So yeah, I will definitely look for longs here. I'm not going to trade USD because I don't trade this pair, but just to give you the insight. Okay. definitely possible longs here, but have your own analysis and your own view to be 100% sure. Okay. Okay, so this is Euro USD, and we have the last pair, which is the NZD USD. NZD USD. Okay. I bet it's going to be very similar given the fact that those are both versus USD. So monthly, oof, what is the fuck is this? Okay. Monthly, I think that was my old chart from all of those years behind. Monthly bearish opening, previous monthly close bullish, as you can see. We are definitely bullish on long term. We just currently are in retracement. So it's going to be interesting. Okay, weekly closed, previous weekly candle closed bearish. We have imbalance like on the Euro USD again. So like I said, it's very going to be similar like Euro USD. So daily, very choppy, slow, and indecisive on the daily time frame. No matter, even though we have imbalance to the upside to be covered as well on the weekly, we have to see some movement. We have to see some volume inside of it before we decide to trade this. But this is only on the daily. We have to see what is happening with the lower time frames. So daily, we are rejecting this region. If we drag this previous resistance now acting as support, as you can see, we are currently supporting it and price may go higher. Okay, just to cover this imbalance and reject this daily order block that opened on the first day of the month and the year. Okay, H4, yep, sweep of liquidity range in the H4, same as on the Euro USD. So guys, be very, very patient trading in January because the year just started and we have to see some volume being kicked in the market, you know, for market again to move like it moved all the year behind, right? So we have to see that. H1, let me see. I want to see some pullback to the downside to this area before going into the longs. Same goes with the Euro USD. It's very similar, right? We are perfectly rejected the order block. This is the perfect short scenario for order block there that happened already today in the new session, I believe. 15 minute. Okay, same thing. Okay, 15 minute we had sweep. Oops, sorry about that. Liquidity grab, we had sweep of liquidity, we had break of structure to the upside like that. This is the daily high, I guess. I think so. Let me see. No, it's not the Asian. So this is the daily. Okay, we had this, the Asian session broke. So London low is taken, Asian low is taken, New York session reversed completely, broke this high that was in the Asian mid. Now we have to expect the price may pull in during the new Asian session because this pair is active during the Asian. We can expect price pulling in this area. We have imbalance. And let's see this region, which is 62.23 level, right? 20 is just below as a confluence. So expectations are that price can put in, reject, and then go into this previous Asian high, okay? Of today's session, today's day. Okay. Okay, guys, let me just give you some updates that is, going to happen this year. So every Zoom call is going to be uploaded on the YouTube, okay? Zooms are going to happen on Sunday, 6 p.m. UK time, like always. We can have some exceptions some days, but I'm going to update you that. Then, every Wednesday, I'm uploading a new YouTube video, educational purposes, like, for example, what is liquidity, Okay, examples, explanations. So every Wednesday, you're gonna have YouTube video, long format, usually 10 minutes long, for you to educate yourself, take notes, and possibly help you along your journey. And yeah, like usual, work in the channels, updates, markets, and trades, right? Thank you guys for coming. See you next week, and I'm going to keep you posted in the channel. See you. Bye bye.